Welcome to the Rise Up in Business podcast. I'm Tracy Myler-Crane and I'm your host. I'm a business lawyer, an entrepreneur, a wife and a mum to two wonderful little people. This podcast is designed to be the business and law podcast for small business owners. Each episode explores different business and legal concepts in a clear and easy to understand way, all delivered in bite-sized chunks that are easy to listen to. You're sure to be able to take little nuggets of gold from each episode and implement them into your business straight away. I'm bringing you these podcast episodes each week with my intention being to share with you what you need to know to feel empowered so you can rise up and take control in your business. Let's get into today's episode. Hello everyone. A very big welcome back to the podcast and a very special welcome to the first episode of the podcast for 2022, which happens to be the first episode for season 5. I'm so happy to be back and recording this episode for you early in the new year, which is when I'm recording. And I can honestly say, and if you've been listening for a while, you'll have heard me say this before, but this podcast really is one of the loves in my business. It's not something I'd ever contemplated when I started out in business, that's for sure, but it has become very quickly one of my favourite things in business because I just love connecting with you in this way and sharing with you the information and the insights that I have that I think are so valuable. And judging from the feedback that you very kindly provide to me, I know that you find it valuable and helpful too. You would have heard from my podcast editor in episode 49. If you haven't listened to episode 49, I suggest you jump over and take a listen. But you'll have heard from my podcast editor that the process that they go through makes this process for me so delightful and so easy, which is why I think I love it just so much. It is a dream to prepare this podcast, and I'm really happy to say that I have spent months preparing season 5 for you. Months. I love what I'm delivering for you this season. I genuinely think this is going to be the best season yet. So let's talk about season 5. What makes it so special? Well, I'm really excited to share with you the value that I'm going to be bringing this season. So I've worked with business owners, as you know by now, for years. So not only in this business, but in the previous parts of my career, we know this. Supporting business owners is my jam. It's my mission in this business to empower every business owner I meet to back themselves legally. This podcast helps me do that because it helps me reach you and it helps me share with you things that I think are really important and that I think are really important for you to know. So it happens in all different stages of business where I come in to support business owners. And I feel really lucky to be able to do what I love every single day and add so much value to my clients at all the various stages of the business journeys. What I hear frequently, time and time again from my clients, is that they started their business with the hope that, this might be something good, it might go okay, it might turn into something worth pursuing, not sure, this business may generate an income for me, and so on. And what I've discovered is that, yes, that's a common theme and a common story, and more often than not, in my experience with working with my clients, those businesses that they think, it might be something, it might turn out all right, they experience an unexpected level of growth. It does really well, better than they thought. And before they know it, they're chasing their tail and trying to keep up, do all the things, and they're just hoping that they've got all their I's dotted and all their T's crossed. Well, my focus in this season of the podcast is on this point in business, which just about every business owner reaches. It's I'm running a business, now what? What am I supposed to have in place legally? What am I supposed to do next? What have I missed? What do I need to go back to? Do I need a bookkeeper now? Is it worth it? What sort of systems and process should I have in place? Where do I go from here? The list goes on. I see this time and time again with my clients. And so this season of the podcast is designed to talk to business owners at that point. The what now? Running a business? Now what? Where to from here? My focus is going to be almost like a looking back on the year or two or a few more years in business and saying, right, I'm here now. What do I need to do now to pull it all together, or to put the proper things in place? Or what do I need to put in place now that I didn't do sooner because I didn't know this business was going to go as well as it did, or I didn't know it was required, etc. You know the drill, you know the story, you know what I'm saying. If any of this resonates with you, if this sounds like you, let me tell you, you are not alone. I can promise you that hand on heart. As I say, just about every business owner that I meet reaches this point at some time or other in their business. So, when you find yourself at this point in your business journey and you're asking yourself the question, what do I do now? What's next? This podcast is for you. This season of this podcast is going to go through what it is that I, in my experience as a business owner and a lawyer acting for other business owners, what I say the focus points should be. What I say, in my experience, you ought to turn your mind to, you ought to put in place, and things that you should be considering and where your focus should be. Like last season of the podcast, this season of the podcast, I will be bringing you some very clever and some very impressive guests who are running their own businesses and who have established themselves as leaders in their space, who have some valuable insights and some real value to share with you on a range of topics. I can promise you that there will be little nuggets of gold sprinkled throughout each episode of this podcast in this season that you are going to be able to take away and act on in your business straight away. Something else that I'm going to be sharing with you more in this season of the podcast are some more real-life scenarios of my work with my clients. That's based on your feedback, so thank you for that. So I know now from your feedback that you are interested in understanding more about the sorts of things that I work through with my clients and the sort of work that I do, as well as a little bit of insight as to what it might be like to work with me as a business owner. So you'll get some real insight into this, and I'll be weaving that through the episodes as we work through season 5. My word for 2022 in my business is consolidation. I have realised that I suffer from bright and shiny syndrome, where I become very easily distracted by all the things, all the newness, with things that I think I should be doing now, joining all the courses, trying everything new, diving into new projects, and often all at the same time. That's not constructive, it's not necessary, and it's not going to do me any favours. I've realised that, I've learned it the hard way. So what I've learnt toward the end of last year is that I need to pause, take stock, and really think about my decisions moving forward to ensure that they align with my business values and that they're going to usefully and constructively assist me in achieving my business goals. You are going to hear more on the topic of bright and shiny syndrome later in the season, but you're also going to hear a lot more about my journey and my personal experiences and the lessons that I've learned that I genuinely think have the potential to be able to help you on your journey too. In the next episode of season 5, I'm going to be diving in and getting personal and sharing with you my story in business, how I started, my why, what I did, what I didn't do, and more on how I built a multi-six-figure business in less than 2 years. This is really the first time I'm diving deep and sharing so much about my journey. And the reason I'm doing it is because I've come to learn from working with my clients and from feedback that I've been receiving on the content that I'm sharing that this is really of interest to so many small business owners and consistent with my mission in business, which is to empower every business owner I meet to back themselves legally, consistent with my mission and consistent with my business values. I want to add value and share with you as much as I can that I think you will be able to take away and implement into your business and get real value from. So sharing my story is going to be a part of that, and I understand from feedback from so many of you that it is. I've taken the decision to have the courage to share really openly and honestly with you the ins and outs and the deep diving into my story. So that'll be in the next episode. I hope you enjoy this season of the podcast. I really think that you will. And please don't ever hesitate to get in touch with me if you want to know more or if you have feedback that you would like to share, because I really do love receiving your beautiful feedback and I'm always very grateful for it. That's all from me for episode 1 for season 5 and the first episode for 2022. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm very grateful for your time and looking forward to sharing with you more about my story in the next episode. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining me. I very much appreciate you taking the time to listen. If you liked the episode, please be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. And if you found this episode to be of value for you in your business, I would be ever so grateful if you would take a moment to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, because that will help this podcast reach the ears of more business owners. If you haven't already, don't forget to jump over to my website and download your free copy of my annual legal checklist designed specifically for small business owners. And if you're ready to set your business up so you can get paid every time hassle-free, check out my course, Getting Paid Made Easy. You can access these resources on my website at tmsolicitor.com.au. Remember, in business, prevention is better than cure. I'll be back with another episode for you next week. Until then, take care.